Mass Senior Action is a 501c3 organization. Though we cannot endorse candidates, we can meet with candidates to see or understand on issues that encourage everyone in the community to proceed to vote. I want to welcome everybody with a big thanks to the candidates for joining us today. In September, this is the sad part. In September, the election was only 7.9% of the electorate was voted. For registered voters, and I think that's a very sad number. So we must do better. Too many people fought to suffer so we can vote. And we vote honor this memory. If you do not have a plan to get to the polls and fill out an absentee ballot, I know firsthand these ballots are counted in the same ballots as the polls. Do yourself a favor and get an absentee ballot. If any of the candidates are provided rides to the polls, please provide that information so you can share it. Mass Senior Action provides questions with the chapter members so we can ask every candidate answer questions. There'll be 11 questions. We will begin a 1 minute mark at the end with 1 minute marks from each candidate. We will please ask to pay attention and keep the timekeeper. We want to hear from each candidate. The candidates drew numbers to determine what rotation the questions will sign. Question number 1. What is your goal to accomplish this year, and how do you plan to make it happen?
Good morning. I believe we introduced ourselves first, right? My name is Jose Encarnacion, running for City Council at large. It's my third time running. I came when I was a teenager to the United States, about 35 years ago. When I came here, I was already 19, so I didn't have a chance to go to high school. So I did how do you call that you do it? The GED. And then I went to North Shore Community College, taking English as a second language, took my associate degree, and then transferred to UMass Boston and graduated with a bachelor degree in economics. I'm the 7 of 13 siblings. I'm married to, I'm also father of 6 children. All of them went to the school here, to the public school here in Lynn. The oldest one already graduated from college, so I'm feeling very, very proud of that. My family own a few businesses here in the city of Lynn, and we've always been involved in the community. I'm a member of the board of the Lynn Latino Business Association, and always been involved in the community. Well, my main plan is to keep working on affordable housing issue, making sure we can all have safe, clean, and secure place to live, and secure place in the city of Lynn for all of us, especially our senior. I think we need to keep working hard to make sure we have those very clean and secure housing for our people.
Hello everyone, good morning. Thank you to Mass Senior Action for having this forum today. My name is Nicole McLean, and I was born and raised in the city of Lynn and went to Lynn Tech for high school. I graduated also with my bachelor's degree in early education from an online college while I was in Iraq. I'm a veteran of the United States National Guard. I have been doing a lot of work community through my association, North Shore Juneteenth Association, and also by being a part of a lot of boards and committees in our city. I'm part of the Human Rights Committee. I'm a part of, my organization is part of the New Lynn Coalition, and we have been doing so much work. During COVID, we were able to deliver food to people in need that were shut in during COVID. That was an initiative that New Lynn Coalition is continuing, that I was part of the beginning of that initiative. So this has been, the city of Lynn is my home, and I have, demonstrated the care and love that I have for this city through actions. So my goal as a councilor at large would be to bridge the communication between our local organizations, such as Mass Senior Action, such as Save the Harbor, Save the Bay in Boston, to help us clean our beaches, to help Mass Senior Action with traffic issues and with other issues that they have as that you may have as seniors, to bring these groups together so we can make better informed decisions as a city. Also, with affordable housing, working closely with Lynn United for Change and other organizations such as these that have a real stake in our community and know our community members. I think it's important for us to communicate with these organizations in order to make more informed decisions for our residents. And another one of my goals is just to improve resident services. While knocking on doors, I'm hearing a lot of things about how people have been asking for things repeatedly. So I would love to work on just increasing our resident services in general.
Good morning, all. My name is Roger Garcia, and I'm a business owner of this wonderful city of ours. I own April's Restaurant, the one in Lynn, the one in Salem. I have a family. I have 4 children. One of my son is a veteran. He was a sergeant in the Marines. My other son is an actor. He lives in LA. I have an 18-year-old and I have a 15-year-old. My business is actually one of the most difficult businesses that you can have as a restaurant. It's actually thriving. It's doing really, really good. And as a business owner, I want to bring my experience to the city council, and I want to help. I want to, somehow teach my experience to them how to actually run a business and make it successful. My main goal for the city of Lynn is safety. I want to make sure that everyone feels safe in the city, especially our children, our seniors. I want to make sure that every person that lives in the city doesn't have to move away. I want to keep them in house. There's a way to try to keep drugs out of the hands of our teenagers. Our violence these days is actually, it got worry all of us. So I want to ask you all to please not to lose hope, to put us on our prayers, and hopefully we can do much better. Our city council, if I get elected, I want to help and guide us in the right direction. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. It's so wonderful to see you again. My name is Hong Net, for those who don't know me. I also want to thank the Mass Senior Action Council for organizing this and also having me here this morning. And it's always a pleasure to be here. And I know I've seen you guys so. And also, I'm so proud to announce that I'm a member of the Mass Senior Action. Yeah, thank you for allowing me, so I'm not getting younger, right? But anyway, yeah. Also, I want to thank you all for putting trust in me for the past years, electing me to be your representative, your city councilor at large. And I have worked with you so many years, and I know what we need in our city. And I know we all live in a budget, so I will do everything I can. I work with this state delegation to make sure that we have enough fund to help seniors who live on the poverty line or below poverty line, so to help them for the housing, especially the city housing. And also, we are proud to say that we just established a new senior center. It's wonderful because we understand that we need it. And also affordable housing. We just passed inclusionary zoning, and so the new developer made sure they put 10% of minimum of affordable housing. It's just the beginning, so we continue to work on that as well. That's the one thing that we realize. And of course, safety, public safety is very important. If you don't feel safe, there's no way we can create business or we cannot live peacefully. So I just want to make sure everyone lives in peace. So we work hard with our police department and other organization. We have a lot of meetings and make sure that our cities feel safe, our children are safe. And again, thank you so much for having me here, and I look forward to hear the conversation with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Brian LaPierre, Councilor at Large. It's a wonderful to see all of your beautiful faces this morning. Thank you for having us, Mass Senior Action Council. I've been a lifetime member since 2015. I'm going to get right into the goals. I've been representing you since 2016, and your fights are my fights. Frankly, what Pam had started out the meeting with, keeping the VA services on Boston Street critical, and wouldn't happen without your work. Tireless efforts, blue shirts on the corners, lobbying everyone you could, so that goes back into the coffers of the city and to be protected for those services that we desperately need. Rent control, I am with you at the State House on those legislation, should be a local option. We need affordability for renters and tenants alike throughout the city, whether you're homeowners or you're making ends meet on the rent. We need relief immediately in our housing crisis. Public safety, as Councilor Ned, Mr. Encarnacion, Mr. Garcia has already said, that is a fight. When you don't feel right in our city, when the image of our city is declining, we need to do something about that. We will be on the front lines to work with you hand in hand to make sure you feel safe around the business area, the downtown district, in your homes. We cannot give up that vigilance, and I will be right there, as I always do, fighting for you. It takes a lot to become a city councilor in this city, and the work is unending. And we are going to continue to offer affordable housing, like transferring the old Marshall Middle School on Porter Street into reasonable, affordable senior housing. We're going to do it again at the old Union Hospital. Yes, we lost that fight almost 10 years ago, but we didn't lose the war. It's going to become affordability. It's going to become senior housing with 2 life communities. It's going to be the state-of-the-art center on Linfield Street for all of you to apply and for people to stay in Lynn. And that's our goal when it comes to affordability and housing. So I thank you for your past support, and I'm #1 on the ballot, and I look forward to working with you at this forum, and especially on November 7th on Election Day. Thank you.
It's always hard to follow Brian. Thank God I'm F and he's L. So when it's alphabetical order, I get to go first. But every... Thank you. My name's Brian Field, and I am in my 3rd term as one of your city councilors at large. And it's been an honor to represent all of you, serving alongside Councilor Net, Councilor LaPierre, the late Councilor Barton, and now Councilor McLean. Your advocacy isn't something that we take light. We're there to support you every single time. And believe it or not, in just 3 short years, 3 years ago, we wouldn't have been able to gather like this. And to be able to do it today shows how much the city is working with you and for you to help rebuild what COVID did to our whole community. It's been an honor for me to serve and a privilege for me to serve as the opera liaison, representing my colleagues on the city council with the mayor when those decisions are being made, so that everything's been transparent. It's been inclusive. It's included money to rebuild a number of the rooms over at St. Stephen's Towers. It's allowed for money to allow for additional funding for the senior center. These are the issues that you brought to us that we're listening, and we're moving forward with your ideas. It's a lot of work. When I first started 6 years ago, this city was facing over a $14 million deficit. And we needed to figure out how we were going to pay our bills. And with tough negotiations and good relationships with our state and federal delegation, this month we made our final payment on that borrowed money. That debt hampered a lot of what we could do. But now we're moving into the phase of what we can do. And like Councilor LaPierre said, we needed to repurpose the use of Union Hospital. And we heard you. We're doing affordable senior housing. We needed to... I'll continue that. Hold on to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning. I'm Don Castle. Obviously, I'm a candidate for councilor at large. I just want to start off by thanking the council, Smitty, Pam, Kathy, everybody having me here today. I also want to acknowledge my colleagues here, or if we're colleagues or candidates. Putting your name on the ballot are really challenging. quest, meeting people, knocking doors, asking your family to do something. Every time you call your friends, they don't answer you anymore because they know you need something. Raising money. But I prepared last night by going on the website, your website. And in 1981, these were the goals when the council was formed. Return to local bus service, bus routes. Medical and shopping transportation. When I was down the center recently, we're talking about getting rides. I think I reached out to the MBTA for a few of you about your concerns with the MBTA. This is a great one. 10-cent fares, 10-cent fares for seniors on bus routes in 1981. I don't know if we can work on that and bring that back, but probably not. But with that said, I have been here my entire life. I grew up a few blocks from here in Henry Avenue, went to public schools, Lynn Classical, worked my way through UMass, worked my way through law school, and I worked for the Massachusetts Trial Court for a long time. I ended my career as an assistant chief of probation in the busiest court in the state, downtown Boston, Suffolk Superior Court. Got a real good handle on addiction, mental health crisis, dual diagnosis issues in the community. In the last 20 months, I worked for Mayor McGee and Mayor Nicholson, as Councilor Field mentioned, doing the American Rescue Plan. 30 seconds? You guys scared me. We did the American Rescue Plan. The city received $76 million. The council and the mayor divvied up that money to really good programs throughout the city, which is having a great impact on our community. Why am I running for city council? Number one, I love the city. I've been here my entire life. I'm never leaving the city. I grew up in a single-parent household. My father died when my mother was 7 months pregnant with me. My mother taught me hard work and what it means to be nice to people and respect people. And my biggest issue is bringing us together as one and addressing all these issues that we're talking about today, our neighborhood issues. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to have you. I thank you all for having me here today. It's hard to follow my predecessors here. It's hard to follow my predecessors here as candidates. But I was not born in Lynn. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, let me start again. I was not born here in Lynn. I did not get educated here in the city of Lynn. The military brought me out here. And I spent 22 years in the Navy. I'm a retired driver. At the same time I was going through the Navy, I also became a Massachusetts State Trooper. For 27 years I worked in this state. At the end of that career, I took a job as a president of a company out of Boston, working with the city of Boston, working through the city of Boston, learning how the city works as a whole. So I think I'm an asset to the city of Lynn because I work through the city of Boston with Mayor Benino, with the city council, with the police department, with the fire department, working with the citizens, working with the homeless. So I know what it takes to make it work, working with the citizens, the seniors of Boston. I'm new to Lynn. This is my first time running, but I came in with a purpose. The purpose of helping everyone in the city of Lynn make it better for them during this here time. Thank you.
Thank you for coming, candidates. Second question.
Oh, yes. For years, the residents on Pleasant Street have voiced concerns about speeding cars. Speed bumps have been proven to slow down drivers, but are not popular with snowplow drivers. What would your advocacy to address high-speed pedestrian areas across the city be?
And these answers will be 1-minute responses, please.
Well, first of all, it is a challenge to be the first one to answer the questions. I'll do my best. Well, for that, I think I'm totally in favor of having the speed bump on the street around the city of Lynn. For instance, where I live in a building on Sagamore Street, and the residents in that building always, because they know I'm running, they always talking to me and say, we need a city bump. We have a lot of kids in that building, so and there's a park across the building. So I would advocate to have those speed bump all over the city, especially where there are a lot of kids, and especially also where all our seniors live. Because I see it here on what this street name? Not this one, the next one. Anyway, this 25 Exchange, isn't it? Yep. Anyway, so there was also senior there telling me the issue they have because they're crossing the street and they're always scared because people are speeding all the time. So we need to work on that with the city and the police department.
And our apologies, candidate, you should have not went first, but so we'll rotate the next time. Go ahead, Nicole.
Okay, so as a counselor at the moment, because being in front of the Mass Senior Action Council in previous months, the speed bumps were brought up by Joanne here a couple of months back. And I did bring that up in the city council meeting. So that's an example of how I will amplify your voices and make sure that you are heard and that these things are being researched and looked into. So the speed bumps have been researched. I've been looking into them. And I think that we should be talking to other communities such as Salem that this is working in and seeing how they are making it work. So that's what my next step would be, is to just talk to the other communities that this method is working in, so we can make sure that it's pushed forward. And also, I walked with the Mass Senior Council when they were picketing on the Common a couple of months back as well. So that's also something I would do. Just be there and advocate and support.
Thank you again for having me. I believe that's a problem that we have through the whole city, not just around here. Where I live as well, people speed in a way that is unbelievable. We need to be careful, especially for our children, our seniors, especially in our school zones. We need to get together with our police department, fire department, and the city hall, the city council we can do better. Especially talking to National Grid that they've been damaging all our street are full of holes and sidewalk. We need to do better. We need to get together as a community and try to solve that problem. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. Speeding is a problem, and very short way of doing it. We're going to continue to work with our city. I'm going to start working right away with my colleagues and the city officials to make sure we have speed bumps, not just Pleasant Street. It's going to be pretty much throughout the city. And I know that it's very, very difficult to get it done because always some people are opposed to it, but we do what we can. Let us start working right now, and hopefully that this problem will be solved as soon as possible. Thank you.
So look, with no disrespect to my colleagues, we have, and we will, because I know this organization, I know the people in the room. You just don't take it, you take charge. Let's talk about taking charge. I remember this question in 2015. Not much has changed. We had meetings with the Chief Reddy. There is a plan in place, I will tell you. It's about funding, but we need to create, and I'm all for speed humps as opposed to a bump. Bumps are permanent, humps are temporary. We can bring them up during the winter months so the plows can do Pleasant Street, Tremont, and any other street around this downtown area. There's speed humps. There's a pilot program on O'Callahan Way right now for Callahan and Breed and Classical. It's working out successfully. It does take time. It does take traffic studies. DPW Commissioner Hall is aware of this. Chief Reddy's aware of this. My colleague and Chair of Public Safety. We have had the principals at the table. We have pushed them and pushed them. It's about money. We got to identify the money. We also need to create bump outs. If you're familiar with bump outs down Pleasant Street, that will immediately slow down the issue because you're forced to sort of, it carves out artificial sidewalks more or less and reduces the narrowness of the street. So you're not having the blazing speed. 30 seconds? This is a problem.
That's it. Thank you, Councilor Time.
Thank you very much. We are working on it.
Councilor started the first minute, so I'll finish that last minute. As Councilor LaPierre was indicating, we are working on it. Councilor Shakutis, who chairs the Elder Services Committee for the City of Lynn City Council, we've been working on. We heard we listen to everything that you say when you come before our council, when you're calling us on the phone, when you're emailing to us any of your concerns. We're listening and we're acting on that. It's the funding right now that's been the challenge. Like Councilor LaPierre said, O'Callahan Way, street down in Westland that serves 20% of our Lynn public school population with Callahan School, with Lynn Classical High School, with Breed Middle School. They started out a process of speed bumps. Okay, those speed bumps were taken up the other day, and that study is still being inputted into the system to see how effective it was. Our plan here with Councilor Shakutis and the DPW, Mr. Hall, and the Lynn Police, they tried to address some of the speeding issues. They're looking at grant funding to have those bump out at each crosswalk that has shown in other communities to slow down traffic. Those are areas that they've identified for funding at the state level, and we're going to continue moving forward with that.
Thank you. I just have to remember when I get elected not to sit next to Brian LaPierre when I'm on the council. I feel like I'm at home, so you can teach me something, right? Yes. Thank you. As everybody said, this is the #1 issue in the city, right? Speeding, the conditions of the potholes on the street. And I was reading the New York Times the other day, and here's the same topic in the New York Times about New York City. Safer streets and sidewalks for our seniors. This is 2 weeks old, so this isn't a unique issue just to Lynn. It's happening nationwide. But we have to have a response that's better than everybody else, right? Correct. We have to have a better response and get it done quicker. What I have proposed, I went to Boston a few months ago when I was still working for the city. I met with their 311 operations center, where you call 311 on your phone or your home phone. You get a live person. You say, "I'm calling for the Senior Action Council," or Wall Plaza or Wall Towers or whatever. There's a pothole. There's this, that. You get a ticket number. They tell you they're going to send it off to Andy Hall or the DPW or ISD. 2 weeks later, you can call up and you get your number and you get your response addressed. We need to get smarter about how we do it. Thank you.
Again, thank you. Speeding. As I walked around the city and getting signatures and speaking to everyone in the city, that was one of the major issues, no matter was it Ward 7 or Ward 1 or Ward 5 or Ward 4. It's speeding. For the first time in over 4 years, I've seen police officers out there writing tickets. That's a major issue right there. Let's get out there and do the enforcement in which they're hired to do. They said it was funding. It was manpower. It was COVID. COVID is gone. Funding is there. Let's get in the streets. Let's curb the speeding. It can be done. Speed bumps, if it's a federal through the city, they're not going to work. But patrols out there, and do not publicize their patrol. Get there, do the job. That's what it's about.
As a counselor, and we're going to start with Councilwoman Nicole McLean. As a counselor, if you received a call from a constituent reporting loud music or a loud gathering in the neighborhood, and the constituent has already called the Lynn Police, how would you address the disturbance?
Okay, I've actually had a call about a dog barking already. So, in the way that I handled that call, that was a noise disturbance that this woman was experiencing. She was saying the dog was barking incessantly, and she wanted someone to come out. I called Captain Reddy. He said he had already been out to her residence already, but I urged her to get more people on her side and create a letter that was signed by not just her, but also the people in the area so that they could see the real urgency of the issue and send that in to Captain Reddy. When I called Captain Reddy again to make sure to get the evidence of his services to this person, he sent me an email that had her request on it, and he also sent a police officer back out to her home, and the situation was resolved. The person next to her that had the dog decided that he would bring the dog inside. So it's just about communicating and collaborating with city services. Thank you.
Hello. As you all know, that's a big problem in our city. Loud music, you hear it on the cars, you hear it on the neighbors' apartment. That's something that got to be taken more seriously. Our police department, they already got a lot on their hands. They respond to those phone calls. People shut the music off, and then once they leave, they turn it back up again. That's a real problem that we all need to address, and they got to be giving out fines to these people so they can stop. Thank you.
Yes, we do have a noise ordinance after 10 o'clock at night. The loud should be stopped, but it still continue going on. And I have seen and witnessed that. And yeah, we have been working really hard with the police chief and also police officers and concerned with the noises. And it has worked somehow, but most of the time, and we have to keep repeating call to a police officer because as elected officials, we probably they probably can listen to us a little better. But somehow I have seen that they work hard and they respond to the call to ordinary residents, just like all of us. And so so we will have to work harder with our police officers, make sure that they enforce, give them tickets if they continue to do it. Okay, so that's all I can do, and I'm sure my colleagues do the same thing. We all work hard. We receive calls all the time about this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor. Well, any noise complaint, first off, we could have loud music, we could have disturbances in the homes. I have gone out, actually, physically to homes after I've done my standard operating procedure of Lynn Police or ISD, what departments, who's responding, what's the response timeline. I've actually been in the neighborhoods. I'll tell you a funny, not so funny story. I had a pig call in this city of a loud pig late at night. And the neighbors were squealing on them, no pun intended. And ISD was notified, and I went to the house and everything. You can't have farm animals in your backyard. And it became a feces issue, and it's a health issue, public health issue. So you cannot imagine the phone calls city councils receive at all hours of the night. But we address it on the spot with our agencies, with our departments, and I'm happy to go and do house calls with a ward council if it's happening in a ward throughout our city, or I go myself. I do ride-alongs with Lynn Police if needed. I will be that hands-on, responsive, accessible counselor that I've been. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. What was important about that first part of the question was that they notified the police first. And if it was an ongoing issue, if it didn't cease after the police were notified, they would reach out to the counselor. And that's what happens often. One of my first questions, if someone were to reach out to me and say there's a noise complaint coming from a neighbor, have you reached out to the police first? If they say yes, then I can follow up with the police. Because usually it's not a first time. Usually it's a recurring offender, and usually there's a record of it. If the police, what they have is a good tool for them. They don't need to be confrontational at the scene. If they've gone to a scene multiple times, they're able to go back to the station, issue a citation. They don't have to do it right there on the scene. They issued that citation at a later time. So that tool right there allows them to go back to the station and help solve the problem that all of you are having.
15 seconds.
So we'll continue working with them. We continue working with noise for cars that are driving down the street being too loud, different fireworks. That comes up, right around 4th of July. Those are noise complaints too. We've worked together to put together different issues to solve those types of noise complaints too.
Thank you. This is a good topic, right? I received a call a couple of weeks ago.
10 seconds.
We got 2 timekeepers. I like this one better. No. So I got a call a few weeks ago about a neighborhood, and there was a big rave party, right? Someone scheduled a rave party from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. And the issue was the parents are out of town, right? And the parents didn't know, it wasn't their fault. But if I received that call, I would drive by, like Councilor up here said, and other councilors up here said, and candidates. I would go by as a person. I'm not a police officer. I wouldn't stop at the party. I wouldn't go into the party. I may take a picture and talk to the neighbors the next day. My first call will also be to the ward councilor, and inform the ward councilor. And the police are overworked. They're always short-staffed. They're keeping people over now. Every time someone in the police department retires or hire one, we lose one. People, retiring. But you have to work.
15 seconds.
work in coordination with ISD, the Lynn Police, and the councilors to address these issues quicker, and technology, on-the-spot fines, and enforcement of the fines. Paying the fines is important as well. Thank you.
30 seconds. You know, loud noises is a problem throughout the city. What I have been doing in my neighborhood is getting to know my neighborhood, getting to know my neighbors. So when the noise starts around about 10, 10:30, I normally go knock on the door. Hey, this is Mr. Felton from me, so-and-so street address. Can you just turn it down? Within 15 minutes it's down. But I have had complaints that I had to go to ISD with. Because chicken crowing, they're crowing at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, roosters crowing. That's a no-win. They had to take and remove the roosters from the places which cross the street from me. That's annoying. They're waking you up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
15 seconds.
So we have to understand that those problems do happen, but they can be worked out. And city councilmen and city councilors at large, those are part of the process of being in that position and that job.
That's a health issue in the city. And the first thing I would do if I get a call, the first thing I would do, I would ask that person, that constituent, if they call the police. If they did and the police went and then they turned the music down and then turn it back on. So then I would go personally to the police station and talk to them. And I will also contact the ward councilor. And I think that can be worked out. And like Garcia said, they also need to be, I think the police enforce that. They ticket them for the second or third time, I believe. So I think that's how we can resolve the issue.
No. No. No.
Hi, my name is Rosa Bentley. Many of Lynn's sidewalks have been redone and are easy to those with mobility challenge to navigate, but there are sidewalks that still need to be addressed. If a resident called DPW, the issue get put on a list. From what we understand, the list is due to be the lack of employees to address our need. What will be done, or what is your method to address these constant concerns like sidewalk if they are in disrepair when the city does not have enough employees to provide the services? So.
Thank you. First of all, I believe that the biggest problem we have in our city is that we have outside contractors that are work, especially for National Grid and the gas company. They come in, they put all piles of stuff on a sidewalk. Obviously, I don't know who's responsible to look after that, if it's a DPW or who else is doing it, but that shouldn't happen. They shouldn't block the sidewalk. They shouldn't leave all the mess behind. Somebody should held responsible for that. And obviously, DPW is the one that should be in charge and keep an eye on that. We need to have someone in the city level, whether it's the council for the ward or
15 seconds.
Thank you. They need to hold people responsible to make sure they do their job, and especially to care about the seniors and the people in wheelchairs. And they need to be accessible to go on the sidewalk without any problems. And we need to do better on that. Thank you.
Time.
Yeah, for the sidewalk, the DPW has been doing a very good job, to be honest. Even though we don't have enough staff, and also the budget is not great over there, and the ward councilors always on top of this, and including councilor at large. So we have been working hard. Also, we have a committee. So we have need we can go to the committee to have them push harder and also look at the budget and look at the list. That's what the DPW have. So they already have the list. They tell us, okay, what's next and what's next. So we do what we can with minimum staff and budget, but I see that we still have to push harder. We have to continue to keep working and find money and work with the state and also with the local elected official and the city hall. Just continue to make sure that we have enough fund and enough power to do the job. Thank you.
Well, first off, I want to give credit to our state delegation, Rep. Cahill, Senator Crichton, Rep. Capano, for increasing infrastructure in our city. We do have some extra funding to go and do just that, Rosa. There aren't enough cement or tar to do every sidewalk that's in need of Lynn. I really echo my colleagues. We're on top of that. We work closely with the ward councilors. We need to be ADA, American Disabilities Act, compliant now with the dimpled sort of safety for wheelchairs and so forth and canes. So we're working on that with state money, federal money, but it does end up being local. DPW are short-staffed. That list is too long. I totally agree. How do you move up that list? I've always asked. Conversations with DPW management. They do get to as many as they can, but there's just so many. And 15 seconds. We have to continue. That's a quality of life issue. It's a constituent services issue. And we need to do a better job with our streets and our sidewalks. And we got to hold places like National Grid and Comcast and Verizon more accountable for when they do the digging, that they restore it to its original condition. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, kind of what I alluded to in the beginning, when we were paying off that debt. Now that that debt's paid off, we do have additional funding to improve our sidewalks citywide. I've been driving down Bowler Street. I know that they've been working hard on Bowler Street just over the past couple of days in different areas all throughout the city. But if there's a concern, there's that you want to share with any of us as councilors at large, or with your ward councilor, I know Councilor Allenson's here, we're listening. And we can reach out on your behalf to the DPW. That's what we have done. We'll make sure that ticket gets resolved. Certainly across every area in service. The DPW has limited employees, but a lot of the work can be alluded to what my colleague mentioned as far as additional funding from the state. So good relationships with our state delegation helps bring additional funding in to address these types of concerns. So your advocacy leads to our advocacy, it leads to the state delegation and our federal delegation, and those relationships help build it. Thank you.
Thank you. I was down the YMCA about a month ago for a health event, and I met a gentleman in an electric wheelchair, and he asked me to take a walk around the brickyard. My mother grew up in the brickyard, down by the 50 Club, and there's trees with roots, and he couldn't get his wheelchair up onto the access. So it's important, right? Everybody here address what the concerns are. We need more money. We need more employees. We need to get more streets paved. I have to say, driving around the city, there has been some streets paved. The streets are looking good. Boston Street's being done. A lot of streets around the city are being paved, but we need to do more of that. I think the American Rescue Plan, the mayor and the council gave some money out of that to pave more streets in the city. I also want to get those little flashing, you see them in Saugus, the speed limit signs. We have the big ones. They did buy some new ones. And I saw the big ones the police department have around the city, but I say 10 or 12 of those small ones, I'm not sure how much they cost. Put those around, put them on Pleasant Street, and let's address the streets as the best way we can. But everything comes down to funding at the end of the day.
I was here about a month ago, and someone brought up the problem that they had right in front of St. Joseph Church. We took that to DPW, and as of yesterday, it's still not taken care of. So they told me that it was manpower. And I was informed that the city had money to hire. So if the money is there for the employees to hire them, hire them. Let's do not delay it. Hire them and put them to work so we can get the city taken care of. You was talking about wheelchair accessibility. I seen a young man in a wheelchair walking his dog, could not use the streets, and you go into the street because of the rising of the streets. Unnecessary.
15 seconds.
So if the DPW have the money, get the workers, Put it out there on the street. We are looking for people. That way we can move forward within this city.
So my is it Jose? Yeah, thank you. All right. So as I was about to say, I do believe what Richard Felton was speaking about, that we need to hire the people that we have this funding for. But I think it's important to educate our youth around these types of trade jobs. So if we can put that into educate, if we can start educating a workforce to employ, that is the real solution right there. Like, we will be able to employ our own residents in the city of Lynn and use that funding not just to educate them, but to also employ them. So that is the one of my solutions, is to utilize Lynn Tech, utilize our youth, and really educate and employ them.
But I applaud the city of Lynn and the DPW for the great job they've been doing with the limited funding that they have. So I believe that if they have all the fundings, they would do more for the sidewalks. So an easy answer for that, I would advocate to get more funding from the state so the job can be done. Because it's not only the sidewalk, but we have some street. We can look at the common street. All the cars get damaged. So we need more funding so the street and the sidewalk looks better.
How can you, as an at-large, make the senior center funding and services a priority for the Lynn budget?
Yes, we work really hard. We got a senior center. That's not enough. We're going to do more. And so we work really well with the mayor's office, with the state delegation, and they try to get more money to make sure that our senior have expand. Actually, we're expanding right now, so we can expand more, and so we have more staff, more facility, more programs for our senior. I know this their last they have been living for a long time, and they want to enjoy the last of their lives. So I'm getting older as well, so I want to see that happen. And also we have to, so all I can say that we're going to work hard with our state delegation to bring more funds so we can have all the necessary programs for our senior. And that's what our goal, and I will continue to fight that, to work with our delegation to bring more funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. As chair, Joan, as chair of the budget committee at the city council level, the first thing I do when I get the mayor's budget sometime in May is I look at that line item in that senior center, because I know how hard this group, this organization fought to get a Lynn senior center. And let me say, it should be exclusively for seniors. I fought and I stood up on the council floor about no Lynn School Department up above. No, it's exclusive. The parking, the building belongs to you and should always belong to you. You would deserve that. It's your legacy. It's your enhanced senior experience. When you go down there, it should be a wonderful, comfortable experience, and we should be enhancing that money and those dollars and never cutting it under my watch, as I'm a city councilor in Lynn, and I will be that advocate along with my colleagues here to make sure we expand services and then expand staff as needed and make sure your experiences down there are worthwhile. Thank you.
Like I said, it's certainly hard to follow Brian every single time. I'm never gonna compare with the applause that he gets, with the cheers that he gets. That's okay. I'm the other Brian. So when you go down the list, just remember Brian. That's fine. But that is a great question. Like my colleague said. I sit on the budget committee as well. We look at those line items that the mayor presents to us annually. We have months to go over that with them. We listen to your concerns throughout the entire year, and then when it comes time to vote on the budget, we've already addressed many of these issues, making sure that there are no cuts. We can't increase the budget, but we can certainly lobby on your
15
behalf.
seconds.
We work well with Chief of Staff Reed from Senator Crichton's office. He was able to advocate some of his ARPA money from the state level just for the senior center alone. So those are the different people that we reach out to on your behalf, where we can identify other sources of money to bring into the city. So that's our job as councilors.
Thank you very much. I'm the sole caretaker for my 93-year-old mother. She's in assisted living. I know what it is to fight for rights. I know what it is to make sure she has proper services, a good senior center. My father was a U.S. Marine. I had a fight with the VA. It was wonderful what we did, saving that building. That was a great fight here. Last time down the senior center, we talked about staffing. The staff at the senior center approached me about funding for positions. The very next day, I was retired, so I can do this now. The very next day, I met with my former boss, the CFO, sat down with Mr. Bettino. I brought their concerns to Mr. Bettino, and I would continue to do that, fighting with my colleagues and the mayor and the state delegation to ensure the senior center has what we need.
He had time left over, so I can take his time. Funding for seniors. No, we talk about the city of Lynn, but funding for seniors go beyond the city. It goes to the state level. That's what we got to take and pull our funds from, the state level. You deserve them funds. You worked hard all your life. You raised your family, and some of y'all are now raising your grandkids because those parents are incapable. So let's understand that you deserve those funds. You deserve to be taken care of. You deserve a senior citizen place that you can go. Not only that, the state cut back at the end of COVID-19. They cut back your DTAs. You need that money back. Let's fight to get that back on top of what you deserve as a senior.
I have extended family, and among them, a few senior. My mother is 89 years old. Thanks. I have a few uncle and aunts. So as I said, all right? And I would advocate hard so the senior center can get more funds. If we need to get to the state level, then we have to advocate for the senior. I think for senior housing and so they can get safe, quality housing and excellent services. So once again, I would advocate so that the senior center can get more fundings to make life better and easier for you. Thank you.
Like all of the colleagues and candidates have said, I would never advocate for cuts on our senior budget and on that line item. That line item would only increase under my watch. I would never cut it. That's something I have to say. My mom is an older woman in this community, and definitely we all are going to be seniors at some point, so we don't want to see any of these things taken away. Everybody on this panel is going to be a senior. They're going to want to be treated with dignity and respect. So that line item should only increase, and the quality of life for our seniors should only improve.
For me, that would be number one priority. I believe that our seniors shouldn't suffer. They should have a quality of life. And I would get the community involved, especially business owners. We can do so much for our seniors. We just need to know how can we help, ask for the help, and I will do the best as I can to help you all. Thank you.
Mass Senior Action has been working with city officials to address the areas that are now known for flooding. The advocacy brought change, and we see the infrastructure improvements on Commercial Street and the Canal Street area. Whether it is the fact of flooding or the sewage we are putting in the ocean, infrastructure must be a priority. What is your plan to fix these basic but very costly infrastructure needs, and how do we pay for them?
It's a great question. It's hampering all of our summer. We all know what has transpired at Kings Beach, this meeting this Friday with Rep. Cahill that he's hosting councilors and state delegation. We are looking for the funding. That's the key. It's got to be federal. It's got to be state, a combination of everything. We need Swampscott's help to cure the Kings Beach issue. I rewind to 1995 when East Lynn took care of its combined sewer overflow issue. And it cost a lot of money, no doubt. But we left our folks in West Lynn to drop the ball on flooding around Bennett and River and Camden and Commercial, where you said. And in 23 or over 30 years later, we now have this exorbitant price tag that's going to cost us as ratepayers for Lynn Water and Sewer. So the plan is not as simple as it may be, but we need to address it. It does take all of us, all of our heads, putting them together with infrastructure improvements. It is happening, as you say, on Commercial at the McManus Field with a new pumping station. That's going to alleviate pressures of that area, the Brickyard, and we have to do better on infrastructure and flooding, absolutely.
Great question. I grew up in Westland with my grandparents over on Orchard Street, and it became like a given. If it started to rain, the basement was going to flood, the streets were going to flood, you had to move the car out of the way so it wouldn't get flooded. Those issues are still going on 30, 40 years later. Those issues are finally being addressed, a lot through climate change activism, and a lot just locally here at our level. But it's with the state delegation and relationships with the federal delegation is what's going to bring those funds in to be able to make those improvements. You see some improvements. For example, Barry Park, permeable surfaces. If you haven't been over to Barry Park, I know Council President Walsh has fought hard to make impermeable surfaces. That means when you're looking at people's yards or areas in public space that are hardscaped, those are now being made into softscapes. So those are different ideas that have been brought forward. We're seeing what works, what doesn't work to help alleviate some of the flooding in those high areas. And we're going to continue moving forward with those ideas.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have to say, this is probably the saddest issue, right, facing the city today, the Kings Beach. It's sad that our main beach isn't usable. I was walking down there the other day. I was campaigning in the Diamond District, and a couple of neighbors and I walked the beach, and they really educated me. It's a complicated, big issue. There are some temporary solutions they're proposing with an ultraviolet light, I believe it is, to hit the discharge for a temporary solution to kind of make that cleaner as it goes out. But it's a massive project. It's long overdue. We did Eastland, we did Westland, Eastland, we need to do the Westland. We need to do the beach. We need to make sure it's a priority. We need to fight with our delegation in the federal level as well, with Congressman Moulton, because it's a big, massive project, which includes Swampscott and Lynn. But it's on the radar finally, and we're going to address it, hopefully in the next couple of years. Thank you.
The beach. We all go there, but we can't enjoy it. I love to go fishing. I put my fishing poles in the water once, and all I caught was a bunch of red tide and some green stuff. I never went back. I pity the people that literally go down there and catch fish and go home and eat it. That's disgusting. All it was red flag all summer long. Imagine the people that went swimming in that though, and now getting sick a few months later. Flooding. Flooding is a major problem. I walked in parts of the River Street area, and every house down there complaining to me that they cannot live on the lower level of their apartments or houses sometime of the year. How can you cook out of a second-story window with a hot plate? Because of flooding. We know it's a major issue, and it's not a city, a state, it's a federal. City of Boston did it.
Well, flooding is a major issue. And I remember about a year ago, I had to go to work, and I couldn't get out of the city because the Linway was flooding. On the other side, then I tried to go around the 107, was the same situation. So I think we need to address the issue, work hard with the city and with the state to solve the issue. If we need to get more funding, we need to look for those fundings. My car Across from North Shore Community College, I was driving and I thought I was going to go through. It was on
15 seconds.
on Washington Street, just outside the parking lot, and my car got stuck in there because it was too much water, it was flooding over there. So we need to find a solution for that issue. Working together.
I also feel that working together with the state delegation is what's going to help us address this issue. I think that we need the funding from the state in order to address our flooding issues. If you live in the city of Lynn, there's no way that you have ever driven your car and not experienced a huge puddle that you couldn't go around or you couldn't get through. Some people, I've seen them stall in the middle of puddles. So, you know, we really just need to collaborate with our state delegation so we can bring funding into the city to address these issues. And I know in Ward 6 Councilor Fred Hogan is also addressing some of these issues in Ward 6. So I just think through collaboration and advocating and pressuring our state delegation to get more funding for flooding.
The city of Lynn already done a lot of work to improve that flooding through the city, so congratulations to them. I believe that for the last 33 years of my life, I've been walking down the beach and smelling how bad it smells, and I think it's time for us to do more about it. Our state, they need to do something, and the other city, Swampscott, Saugus, Riviera, we should all get together and try to fix our problem once and for all. I think it's time. I don't want to become an old man and never get to enjoy our beach. We need to do more, please. Thank you.
So we to help us, and so we can get more fun to plus also the city need to get together, clean up the street. So basically, so that way when it rains, the trash won't go to the man's hole. That's what we have been doing that every weekend, and that's important. We have to come from us, and at the same time we will not abandon. Keep fighting for more funding. I'm glad that we have a water store being built, so we'll be finished by next year. So we will continue to do that, and all I can say that money is most important. Also our involvement at the same time. Thank you.
Hello all, I'm June Tracy. I'm at Ward 7. My question is, what is one thing you feel the city could do better and how could it be done better?
Great question, June. Thank you so much. What can we do better? I think Councilor Net just touched on keeping the city cleaner. That's something that we can all do. During my time on the council, Councilor Shakutis and I, we co-chair the litter committee because we know that's an issue that affects not just how it looks outside, but it affects the flooding. It affects quality of life. It hampers what the DPW can do. So they're limited on their staff because they're cleaning up the parks from people using the parks and leaving their litter behind so that they can mow the lawn for these same people to use again. So if they're spending 2 to 3 hours cleaning up a playground so that they can mow the lawn, they're not able to fill a pothole. They're not able to trim a tree. They're not able to repair a sidewalk because of those simple little solutions. We've taken on that task of educating our students, right, at the 2nd grade level every year around Earth Day. We have an Earth Day poster contest with the school committee and counselors. We work together. Those are some of the small issues, and we'll work for it.
Thank you. My first gut feeling reaction was when you asked this question was, what can we do better? Elect me as your counselor. That's my answer. Number one. Number two is services, right? We work hard, the city works hard as constituent services, but we gotta bring our neighborhoods and our community and our seniors and the people of Lynn involved more in getting things done. And that's why I talked about the 311 system. You have an app on your phone. You're part of the process. You know when you put your complaint in or your concern in. You track that process. and you see it to fruition. You see it to completion. Whether it's a moving, a sign, you know, parking too close to the corner, people can't pull out of the street and see the car coming, or getting a street light fixed. There's been lights flickering downtown for a couple of weeks now. That should be done quicker, right? So getting things done quicker and easier and faster and cost efficient, and with technology. Thank you.
As city councilor at large, first thing I gotta do is create a ward captain. Ward captains and precinct captains is a major asset to this here city. The city councilmen, the city councilmen, they cannot patrol the whole city all at once. But your precinct captain, your ward captain, they are the eyes and the ears of the city. Without them, we're not gonna be able to do the job. I don't care who you put in a position. Start utilizing you, the citizens, as ward captains, precinct captains, and put you to work to be our eyes and ears of the location that we cannot cover. Ward 1 and Ward 7 is the biggest wards in the city. Let's take and pull it together and get it done.
Something that the city can do better is to have more programs to train our young teenagers, young adults to have good paying, sustainable job that help all the communities. So I believe we can work hard on that. We can try to bring companies to the city, and so they can have more training. We can have more training. I don't know if we can use Lean Tech or to have more training, because I know our youth are on the street doing what they're not doing nothing, because they need a good paying job. They need that, but they need the training. So I think we need to work hard on that. I think the city can work hard on it. As a councilor elected, I will work hard on that to make sure that we address that issue.
Time. Thank you.
I believe that the one thing that we could work on, there's plenty of things. Our youth services, of course, our veteran services need to improve. And also our senior services need to be improved as well. But I believe making our downtown more walkable and making it cleaner, neater, a place where people can actually go and enjoy themselves, improving the quality of life in our city is one of the #1 things that we can do, because it instills pride and dignity in our residents, and maybe then our streets will be cleaner. Maybe then our youth will, you know what I mean, have more to do when they're out here that is constructive rather than negative. So I think that we really just need to work on just improving the quality of life in our city overall. A lot of the things that we're doing right now, people feel that they are not heard, seen. A lot of our people, not just, when it comes to diversity and equity and inclusion, but when it comes to every aspect of our city, people feel like they're not heard. So just overall, the quality of life for everyone needs to improve in our city, political and the community services.
Hello. I believe that we need to take care of businesses in the city. We need to bring more businesses to that town. We need to create more parking spaces. We don't have any. We also need to hire more police officers to engage with our community, to walk around. Also, we need to talk to our fire department. They're working too much. They need help. We need to advocate for all that. Thank you.
To beautify the city is the most important. I believe that people look at outside first. When they see our city beautiful and feel safe, they feel welcome, and they see fresh flowers, more trees, the street clean, feel safe. Of course, they will come to visit our city. And when they come to visit our city, they will see the potential of having more businesses to come, small businesses. That's what we have to do. All together, we have to get together, make sure, take care of the city, contribute just a little time, little money, whatever you can, just make our city beautiful. And so we will do the best we can to make sure we get all the resources, and we promote our city by doing that. And we will have more events going on and like in the commons or anyway. So, and also promote a restaurant month. So once a year, maybe we have all the restaurants get together and have people come to taste our food. We have so wonderful many restaurants in our city. Thank you.
I suppose the benefit of going last for this question is I agree with all 7 of the prior answers, and I'm going to try and recap them all, because the one thing I think we can do better is do a better job listening. We may not have all the answers. We need to listen to residents. That's how we are able to lead and improve our city. But whether it's public safety, whether it's a strong local job economy for our kids, whether it's littering and trash, the illegal dumping that goes on because people can't afford to spend $25 and $30 and $40 to get rid of a couch or a mattress, all that has to be renegotiated with Waste Management. That contract is coming up in the next term. So I will be at the table with the mayor and we will advocate for that to make sure we put together a better proposal that doesn't put the burden on the owners and taxpayers, but rather on Waste Management. So that's one immediate goal, but I agree with all my colleagues around local businesses, more parking, of course public safety, but listening and feeling respected when you call City Hall. They work for you, we work for you. Please let us know. My phone number is on every one of those cards at those tables. It's a cell phone and I answer it. Please call me. Thank you.
First of all, you touched on the senior center, which I love. I've been there since day one. It does need to be a little bit bigger, which you guys touched on that you're working on it. I want to know about the MBTA public transportation. Is there any way that we can have a bus go by there once, twice a day to bring some people that live far away? Is there any way that we can talk to the MBTA and see if they can schedule a bus? Because you can't go down Salisbury Street with the bus because of the bridge. But you might be able to go down Green Street to Front Street with the bus. So what can we do to help that?
I think that's a wonderful question. So when you say a bus, you mean a regular bus just to pick people up, a new route, or a special ride to bring people to and from places?
A regular MBTA bus that can go from wherever to Front Street.
From around the city?
Right.
Sure, I mean, we could talk to the council, to the mayor, to our state senator, our state representatives, you know, and try to...
I don't know how many people live close to the senior center on Front Street. And I know everybody that goes there, and half these people don't go there because they have no transportation to get there.
Well, I promise you this,
I'm just reminding Russell that everybody gets a minute, and so it's not just your and him's conversation here.
I was enjoying the interview. Thank you, Russell. He has a future on TV. I like that. No, so radio. He prefers radio. Me too. No, I happen to know the operations manager for the entire MBTA bus route system. So I think he called some of you in the past on behalf of when I spoke. Some of you, 3 or 4 of you, brought me issues, and my friend called. I can ask him that. I think, you know, many years ago in Pine Hill, we had a bus route, and there was one person that used it. They eliminated that about 10 years ago because of money. I mean, it's all about cost. Everything today we talk about comes back right to the budget. But we could ask that. We could ask him that. I'll have him call you and tell him how they determine bus routes so people can have accessibility to the center. It's an excellent issue.
The major transportation for a lot of people right now is the MBTA. And for the seniors, a specific route has to be negotiated. They have to bring it to the table, they have to go to the MBTA, they have to work out the process, and they have to see is it feasible. If it's not feasible, they're not gonna do it. I can tell you that right now.
It's feasible.
It's feasible? But I'm just letting you know, if it's not feasible, they're going to let you know it's not feasible, but you have to pressure them. And instead of a big, long bus, they might reduce the bus. They might give you a smaller bus that we can take and provide this right here service to you, but we cannot provide a major 45-passenger bus. So we have to look at all those things.
15 seconds.
As city councilmen at large, and work with the mayor and work with the MBTA.
Thank you. I think that's a very important question. We've been having issue with transportation around the whole city of Lynn, and now especially for the senior. I believe we need to negotiate with the MBTA to make that happen. But beside that, if it's not feasible, then we need to have a plan B. So we need to work with our council and the mayor to see if we can find transportation for the senior to bring them to the senior center. Thank you.
I just saw an actual job posting for someone for the senior center to have transportation specifically for the senior center. I'm not sure if that position has been filled, but there's supposed to be someone that's going to be driving a van that's specifically for the seniors to be able to get from point A to point B. That's a job that I recently saw.
It is, but it's only like an 8-passenger, and today it took me 40 minutes to go across town to pick up one person. So by the time he would do 2 laps, lunch would be over.
Okay, so, thank you, Pam. So I feel that a bus from the city, I know a trolley has been purchased in the past to get residents from one festival to the next festival to the next festival. So if that can be done, I believe we can figure out our own route. I know the MBTA is what is wanted, but I believe that a bus for the senior center, that, a school bus even, that is like for you to be able to get from where you need to be. And I've knocked doors in thank you. I've knocked doors in Kings Lynn that is so far from the senior center, and they are all the seniors there have been wanting to get to French Street. So I think that we can figure out our own route and get a bus for from the city.
What good is a senior center if you can get there? Obviously, that's a very important issue. We should get together with our state level and the MBTA and our city council and to discuss to do that if it's feasible, like they say. And hopefully, they're going to come to a conclusion that it might be done with the power of prayers, hopefully. And good luck to all of you. Thank you.
It's always possible as long as we're willing to put mind into it. As a chairman of the Ways and Means, I will negotiate and work with the mayor's office and with my colleagues and with the state to see if it's possible that we can put some budget aside to purchase a bus for our senior, and they deserve it. I'm not promising, but I will do what I can and negotiate with them, and hopefully it will happen. I will do my best. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Russell, for this important question, and I echo my colleagues' sentiments. I think it's another issue where we're not going to take it, we're going to take charge, whether that's petitions and lobbying the MBTA, working with our colleagues at the state level who are so great about delivering funding. I think it is about the route it will be, obviously the cost involved, but we should not take no for an answer is the key. And then we need to make sure that if it's not MBTA or a state issue, it becomes a local issue, as my colleagues have expressed. So we'll be there in the fight with you. I'll sign my name, I'll circulate petitions, we'll testify with you at the MBTA board when it comes time. We need a plan of action, and that action begins with all of us. 30 seconds still? 15 seconds, so let's keep going. Not everyone has adequate transportation, not just for the senior center, for grocery. Anything you try to do around this city requires transportation. And right now we're at a deficit in our city with the train station and the bus lines ever changing. It's all about ridership, we gotta build. Thank you.
Handicap accessibility, correct. Thank you for the question. We have advocated for you in the past, and we'll continue advocating for you. We can just look right across the street at how the MBTA treats Lynn, how they see Lynn. We can look over just alongside of McManus Field when we're trying to get the fence repaired to keep the student population safe from the train tracks. And their answers are so far-fetched that they haven't paid attention to Lynn for years. The last administration in state government failed to fully fund the MBTA. So those fights with the MBTA to get our needs here in Lynn addressed are now at the state level, at the governor, at our state delegation, working with our senators and our local state reps. We're gonna advocate for you, just like we have in the past. But we take it down to a lower level, where we're advocating funding for the senior center, for a full-time driver. I remember being at the senior center a couple months ago, and there were six participants that weren't able to make it there that day because they just didn't have a ride. So we share in that concern. We're gonna keep fighting for it.
Hi, I'm Kathy Paul. Addiction and violence are in most cities, and we are both here in Lynn. What role can the City Council play in addressing either of these challenges?
I would say the location. What location are you in? But I realized as I walked through the city of Lynn, it's all over the city of Lynn. All over the city of Lynn. I was at King Beach Tower, and one of the complaints that I received there was, we have popcorn night to watch what's going on in the parking lot across the way. That's kind of bad. Now, I'm going to give you a quick story. They said I have 1 minute, but just a quick one. Back in March, I was at a variety store on Union Street. Gentleman run in, say his partner just had OD'd on some cocaine or whatever fentanyl he had. I grabbed my phone out of my pocket, ran, gave him CPR until the paramedics got there, brought him back to life, compressing on him. I could not breathe on him because I don't know what he had. But at least I gave him chest compression. They gave him 2 shots of Narcan and brought him back to life. So we have a serious problem that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be not just the city council, but it needs to be the statewide, all over.
Thank you for that great question. That's a major issue here in the city of Lynn. Safety, drug addiction. I think we need to work together as a community. The police department is doing a tremendous job after some incidents that happened in the city. I was touched by that because one of my nephew died, was killed in one of the shooting. And that was, and we felt, as a family, we felt that the city supported us a lot. So I think we need to work together as a community. The police was asking for people to bring information that they know. So we need to work actively on that and have more police presence around the city, patrolling all over, not in cars, but also in bicycle, being, immersed in their community. Thank you.
Okay. As far as opioid addiction goes in our city, it is all over the place. We have a lot of services that we provide to people that are struggling with addiction. Just recently, the Recovery Center was opened on 35 Exchange Street for people that have that are struggling to stay off of drugs. And I do believe that as a city, we need to alleviate some of that pressure of addiction on our city, because everybody that comes to Lynn that is addicted to opioids or what have you are not always from Lynn. They come to Lynn because we have the services. So I think, again, speaking with Swampscott, Marblehead, these other communities, to have them help us alleviate this issue, the increased services in their communities would be one of the solutions, to increase services in other communities so that we can alleviate the opioid issue. And as far as violence in our youth goes, I would just recently had a meeting with local youth organization leaders to create a council on adolescence so we can increase our youth involvement in our city, and I think that would help.
The violence in our city is actually affecting all of us, especially myself as a business owner. I see the decrease in people coming into downtown, and it's because people are afraid. They don't want to come out. Children suffering, having a lot of mental health issues because of what's going on. Opioid, big problems. I don't want to be on the news every single week that we have a shooting in our city. We need to do better. We as a community, we need to get together more often like we did the other day to find a better solution for all the problem. Together with our police department, our fire department, we need to do better.
15
Please,
seconds.
if you see something, say something. Try to help us as a community. Thank you.
In addition of working hard with the police department, I would like to propose a youth center. We haven't had one yet. We have a senior center now. I'm going to fight and work with the city and the state to get some funding. We have to create a youth center so that when kids come, yeah, right, exactly. And when they come from school, they have a place to go. So we have counselor, we have people that will help them. So at least we know where they are, the parents know where they are. That's what we're going to continue to, that's what we're going to fight for. So I will work with my colleagues to make sure, I hope they support me. I'm sure they will support me, and the mayor and the state to get some more money. So with all of you, with the help from all of you, so we can make it happen. So please help me on that. We're going to do our best to get a center for our youth. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for your important question, especially now. Addiction and crime go hand in hand. The police are doing an excellent job in catching perpetrators, but it goes on, and we do live with this uneasiness around the city currently, and we need to continue to have the community forums we had last Friday, citywide efforts, again, listening, learning from our colleagues and residents alike, and then taking the lead on action steps. And some of the action steps you've heard about, I'm in full support of. When it comes to addiction, we've all been inflicted in our families. It's very sad. It is a statewide problem. It's not just a City of Lynn problem. We need to do a better job in helping folks. Exactly, it's a national issue. And in terms of the crime, we have to continue to be vigilant. We are a very resilient city, and we have a ton of good-hearted people here. We must focus on that. We must build a stronger, younger, more educated society so that the jobs are there and they don't turn to the gangs and the drugs and the crime and everything else that leads to addiction. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. When I first started on the council, I asked to create an opioid subcommittee. I chair that, so we've had forums. I sit on a panel now where some of the proceeds from lawsuits against some of these drug makers are now funneling into the cities and towns to help use them, to help alleviate that. We're deciding where those funds get appropriated to. We're going to start, we voted last week through Ways and Means to start using some of those funds throughout the city, different areas of addiction with opioids. You're going to start seeing more and more and more of that. As far as public safety goes, I now chair, following the late Councilor Barton, I now chair public safety and public health in the city. So I'm at the front seat of all these discussions of what we need to do citywide. Discussions like we had Friday as a city, where we brought everybody together. It's going to take everybody. It's not just those that you see seated at the table in a position of power. It's not just the mayor's office. It's not just the police. It's going to take everybody. It's going to take what we need to not lose a whole entire generation of students to violence in this city. We need to all step up and support it and hear one another.
Thank you. As a probation officer and assistant chief of probation, this is what I dealt with every day. And not only in my employment, my nephew's an addict. I've been through this with my nephew. As Brian said, a lot of us have had family and friends that we've lost, right, due to the opiate crisis. The sad thing is, during COVID for 3 years, overdoses are up. We're not talking about it anymore. People aren't talking about it because of COVID. So what I propose is a mayoral level Office of Recovery Services. East Boston does it, Revere does it. The mayor and the council appoint a full-time employee to coordinate our dual diagnosis, because most addicts have mental health issues. And they don't fully understand what's going on. So we need a mayoral level to coordinate recovery services in Lynn with the Lynn Drug Court and all our great programs. I went to the new opening on 25 Exchange Street. To coordinate our recovery, we need recovery coaches on the street. We need on-demand treatment for people that can get into a program immediately. You call a program today, you have to say you're actively using to get help to get a bed. That has to change.
Yes.
Right? That has to change. So we need a new Office of Recovery Services. Thank you.
We want to thank everybody for coming. We did have a couple other questions, but we're running tight on time. So what we would like is for everybody just to have one last time to tell us why you would like for us to vote for you. And Richard, so we'll go back to Jose. You can start.
I'm number 8 on the ballot. So I am respectfully request your support for my candidacy for City Council at large. Now that I am firmly committed to use all my experience of more than 20 years in public service to help the City of Lynn continue to grow as a city opportunity for all and make this city a better place to live, to work, and to raise our children. I am committed to work together with the other elected city officials and to the mayor to make Lynn a better place. Please humbly ask for your vote, for 1 in 4 votes in November 7th. I'm number 8 in the ballot. Thank you so much for your time.
My name is Nicole McLean, and I am number 6 on the ballot. I am humbly asking for 1 of your 4 votes for Councilor at Large because you have 4, so please do not forget that. There's 4 open seats. And I'm asking because I am capable. I have demonstrated that capability through my work in the city that I've already done without an official seat in the political arena. And I want you to make sure. I want to make sure that I move the city forward, not just for some, but for everyone. Whether I like them, dislike them, want to see them, move forward or not. My job is to work for everybody, and I'm well aware of that. Whether I agree with their views or disagree with their views, I will always work for the residents of Lynn. So please vote for me November 7th. Again, I am number 6, and you can also look at my website, NicoleForLynn.com, to learn more about me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Roger Garcia. I'm number 2 on the ballot. I'm a local business owner. I own April's Restaurant. I got 1 in Lynn, 1 in Salem. And I want to bring some of that to the City Council. I want to bring my experience as a business owner to help our community. All I'm asking you guys to please humbly consider me on one of those 4 votes. My time is very important, so I want to give some of that to you guys. I want to give back to the city. I have a lot of energy, and I've been working for a very long time, and I appreciate if you guys think of me November 7th. Thank you very much.
Again, I want to thank you for having me here, and I'm honored to be here to see all of you again. I'm respectfully asked for 1 of your 4 votes. I'm number 7 on the ballot. Lucky number. I always like number 7. And the reason I ask for your support because I have the experience and I understand our issues in our city, and I'm honest. I'm a nice guy. And I will never turn people down. So anything that you need to call me, whatever, so I will be there for you, and I will do whatever I can to assist you, and I continue to listen to your concerns. I will be there to communicate with you. So just please, all I ask just for 1 of your 4 votes on November 7th, and I'm looking forward to continue to serve you more in 2 more years. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor. I'm Brian LaPierre, and I'm number 1 on your ballot on November 7th. I think I'm your easiest and strongest vote because I've always stood with you, shoulder to shoulder, whatever the issue is, since I've been an elected official. I ran in 2015 as an absolute no-name around the city. I'm into my 4th term now. I have the experience. I work with colleagues, I'm collaborative, but I also fight for you. I fight for the issues that matter. I'll never ever be quiet on that council floor if I'm sticking up for you and your advocacy. You have a math problem this election. As you can see, there are 8 quality people up here seeking your vote. But I am asking you humbly to return me to the Lynn City Council because I am a proven commodity. I work hard, I answer my calls, I don't shy away from the big votes, I take care of the nitty-gritty stuff, I answer my phone, and my family and I do everything around Lynn that makes this city proud to be from. We're not going anywhere. I humbly ask for one of you 4. Please re-elect me. Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful opportunity. Great to see you all.
It should be no surprise that I still follow Brian on the ballot. He's number 1, so we all follow Brian on the ballot. I'm number 3 on the ballot. My name's Brian Field. First, I'd like to thank Mass Senior Action and all of you for taking the time to be here today, to listen to our responses, to sharing your concerns, sharing your ideas with us. This is what you've done over my past 6 years as a councilor at large. 6 years ago, I made a promise to you. Hardworking, accessible, and responsive. I think I've kept true to those 3 promises. To be hardworking, to be responsive to you, to be accessible. Anytime anybody's reached out to me, I've always returned their call. Whether it's an idea or a concern, taking on the tough issues that we have in the city. The small issues of potholes, the small issues of a tree branch down, the hard issues of crime, the hard issues of addiction, the hard issues of how we fund things, okay? I've worked together with my state delegation. I've worked together with my colleagues. I work well with the mayor. I ask for another term to continue serving, to be one of your 4 city councilors at large. I'll be number 3 on the ballot. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for organizing this. Thank you to the council. I appreciate it. It was a fun day. I enjoyed talking to you about the issues. I asked you to vote for me, one of your 4 votes. I'm number 4 on the ballot. Why am I running? Why am I asking you for your vote? I love the city. I love Lynn. I can do the job full-time. I'm retired. I will answer your phone calls. I'm going to focus on the issues we talked about. Fully funding police, fully funding the DPW, fully funding the fire department, building a new Pickering, addressing our streets, addressing our sidewalks, and getting smarter and quicker at how we get things done, right? Getting back to you faster. That phone, like we said, this phone here is the phone on my flyer. You call that, you get me. I will be at your house. I will be serving full-time in this position. Please vote for Don Castle. Thank you.
Again, thank you all for inviting us here, inviting me especially. At the bottom of that piece of paper I gave out is my cell phone number. I was told by my wife that I live by this stupid thing. I don't turn it off in the middle of the night because I never know when an emergency might come up. And it needs to be answered. And some of you all have reached out to me on my webpage, and I have got back to you. And I will continue to do that. We need to grow as a city. Not one ward, but all wards. All of us. We are in this together. If you hold up your hand with the blessing of the good Lord, you ended up with 4 fingers and a thumb as a unit. We are a unified body. What we need in this city, one thing that we really need, we need a hotel in this city to house our own affairs instead of going to Revere or Boston or some other place. Let's get it back.
What's your number? Your number on the ballot.
Number 5 on the ballot. Number 5. Richard Felton, number 5. I'm looking for looking to fill one of those spots of the 4. I'm new to the game.
That's a good thing.
Well, we want to thank you for coming and participating. To all of you here today, I want to emphasize, make a plan to vote. If you are not going to vote by absentee ballot, find a ride now. Do not wait for the day of the election. Now we will give each oh, you already did that. Whoop, okay. Thank everyone for coming.